Or should we call it ThemTube? It certainly used to be YouTube. What? You're not allowed to say that. Let me just get TikTok on the line. I'm gonna do a quick stream on homestead gardening, and then we're gonna get out of TikTok and we'll talk about what we want to talk about here. I just want to grab them real quick. All right, homestead plus homeschool. Hey guys, good morning. I was saying that it's YouTube, but it's really ThemTube. They've dropped the U. They've dropped us. It's all about what they want, but that's fine. I'm gonna do a quick talk. I'm gonna do a little bit of recruiting on the TikTok, and then I'm gonna jump over here, and we're probably gonna talk about Bono's One Foundation, because I just got a real kick out of doing a little bit of research into that, and man, it's just corrupt. All right, let me grab the TikTok. I'm gonna do a quick boom, talk about our gardening situation. Oh, and I'm actually gonna talk about the lesson plan for this week, which I'm really excited about. Hey, Foster Bear. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Good morning, TikTok. We are live here with YouTube, and it is a beautiful day in the sunny south. Yes, it's a little cold, but let's be honest, it could be colder. So you got to be grateful for everything you get in life. Good morning, this earthen vessel at Sunshine Acres. Absolutely crushing. So I am very fortunate that in my life I'm able to homestead, I'm able to homeschool, and as my regulars know, I also run a homeschooling company. And one of the things we're doing this year is our year-long nature unit study, something that has gone very well. I'm very excited about. And this week, no exception, the activity the children will be doing, not only is it fun, not only is it enjoyable, but it's an activity that through a hands-on learning, they will remember for the rest of their life, and a skill they will have developed for the rest of their life. And when we talk about the contrast between what we're able to do in homeschool versus what we're able to do in public school, I mean, there's a lot of factors, but that's a major factor. That in homeschool, because you could customize education, because you can go at the pace of your learner, the level of your learner, you have the ability for your children to really learn everything in context, to learn hands-on. I mean, you compare that to this public school model in which children are really sitting between concrete walls from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for Monday to Friday for essentially 12 to 15 consecutive years. Good morning, Phoenix. Homestead and homeschooling family here. Yes, happy to have you. So these children in public school, everything's out of context. It doesn't make sense to them. When am I ever going to use this? Well, we don't have that problem in homeschool because we teach in context. And so far with our nature unit study, something I've been so passionate about, the members of our homeschool community, their children have drawn maps of their property, tracked the sun, done their own composting, built little greenhouses, done research on the type of seeds that are conducive to growing plants in your planting zone, the area that you live, right? You might want to grow different plants in New York than you want to grow in Florida or California, just based on the makeup of each individual plant. So the children have researched their planting zones and decided what they wanted to plant, planted seedlings. They've built their own garden boxes, which are really cool, which is a great life skill because it gets into the skill of construction, and so many members of our community are into that and are going down paths where they'll actually be capable carpenters by the time they're 18 years old. And for the last couple of weeks, we've really been focusing on soil. And last week, our students did a really cool activity in which they learned how to identify soil deficiencies in plants based on the characteristics of their leaves. Now, this stuff is not always 100%. There's gray area, but this is a great skill to have, especially for someone who's trying to get into gardening and that type of thing, or even just understanding biodiversity, understanding photosynthesis and all these processes. So our students, they learn leaf identification. We've done a lot with the soil. They learned how to do at-home soil pH tests to determine if your soil is either acidic or alkaline, which, depending on the plant that you have, it's very important to know that. And understanding what type of soil you have. Do you have a loomy soil, which is great? You could really grow plants very well in a loomy soil. Is it a sandy soil so it won't hold water? You might have to water a sandy soil more, right? Because that water is going to go right through those pores. So it's about understanding what type of soil you have, identifying deficiencies within that soil, and then, of course, correcting that issue, right? And this week we're going to learn about correcting soil. And again, there's so much that goes into this stuff, and it's a year-long nature unit study, and we'll be learning more and more about it. But this week we're going to be doing something really fun. Hey, Amanda. Really fun, in which the students are going to be making their own fertilizer. Now, most people will say, oh, well, if your plant needs fertilizer, there's maybe a nitrogen deficiency, maybe a calcium deficiency, whatever it might be, phosphorus, potassium. All right, you go to the store, buy some fertilizer and throw it on there. What the fertilizer companies, even the organic ones, maybe don't want you to know is that when you're throwing that fertilizer onto your soil, there's such an influx of some of the nutrients that it could actually kill some of the biodiversity within your soil, maybe kill the worms, whatever it might be, and that has a negative impact on the natural soil of your cycle, the natural cycle of your soil, right? So it's a really good skill to understand how to make natural fertilizer. Now, obviously, this is a skill you really have to refine over time, but for introducing our students, it's something I'm really excited about. And what our students are going to be doing is I'm taking banana peels, putting them in a glass of water, letting that sit for a week, just passing through to tell everyone I love them. I appreciate you. I deal with a lot of negativity being a social media creator, and people like you make the world a better place, so I really appreciate that. So you pick the banana peel, you put it in the water, you let it sit for a week, and then a week later, you take that water, you put it into a watering can, dilute it with some water from the hose, and you have a natural fertilizer to fertilize your soil. Now, that's just one step in what we're doing this week. The other thing our children are going to be doing, which I'm really excited about, is our students are going to be taking banana peels, putting them outside in the sun, ideally a good amount of banana peels, letting them dry out for about 8 hours in the sun. After they do that, they'll probably still need to be dried out a little more. So they're going to put them in the oven, 150 degrees, for maybe 2 hours. You can feel it out. And then I'm going to answer all your questions, by the way. I just like to get through this, otherwise I get too sidetracked. I'm going to go back and answer all your questions. And then take it out of the oven, the banana peels, so they're dried to a crisp. Mash them up into like a powder. Right? You might even be able to do it with a blender, but mash it up into a powder. Put them in a mason jar and let that sit for about 3 to 6 months. And then 3 to 6 months from now, when our students are doing their, when we reach the fall and we're still doing our year-long nature unit study, they're going to have this natural fertilizer that they can use. And then on top of that, they'll also have the compost. Because one of the things our students have been doing is making compost. So they'll have the compost they could use for that as well. So these are great life skills, and it's something that I'm so excited about. For anyone who wants access to what we're doing, it's classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, and use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, that's FREEDOM, and it's $10 a month. So let me go back. I'm going to answer some of your questions, and then I'm going to jump out of TikTok because I only talk about my homeschooling, gardening stuff here. I don't branch into any other topics here on TikTok. And then I'm going to jump over to YouTube, and we're going to talk about a few more things that just pique my interest and whatnot about the world. So let me just see. Homestead and homeschooling, crushing. Right, you teach information they need and can use. I need the lesson plan. That's classicallearner.com. Just join Homeschools Connected. Use Freedom. Best way to protect gardens from the spraying. Can you elaborate on that? All right, great. Yeah, so I'm glad I answered your questions, and I'm gonna jump off of here in 5 minutes. So yeah, we're doing our year-long nature unit study, which is really cool, and we're having a lot of fun with it. I see a lot of content about younger children. Does your schooling go all the way through high school? So this is the first year I'm building out original curriculum, but our high school students at the present moment are studying the media industrial complex, and that's actually a course that I'm teaching myself. And they're not just studying the media, but they're actually learning how to track the money. They're learning, and this really gets into everything. So they're reading the primary congressional report from the Church Committee in the 1970s. So they could see, okay, wow, the Central Intelligence Agency spent all this money essentially bribing corporate media, right? They're learning how to track the parent corporation. So, wow, when I turn on the television, it looks like I have all this choice, but there's actually 5 corporations that control 90% of what you're seeing on television. So we're studying that. Our next study will be into the medical industrial complex, and then after that, we're going to study the military industrial complex. And then on top of that, I also have my courses that I teach for on propaganda using the Cubs to Bears children book series, which I wrote, and that I'm teaching right now on the Bill of Rights. Those are geared toward elementary school, middle school students, but because the topic is so complex, it's actually beneficial to study propaganda in a more simplistic form. And what I mean by that is you want to understand how social shame is used to get people to give up their rights. You want people to understand, you want your children to understand that when someone's labeled a derogatory term, it might not be because they are that thing. It might be as a means of justifying removing them from the public sphere of conversation, right? So this is the type of things we're studying. We study things that matter in our homeschool community. We study things that are pertinent to our students and will benefit them throughout the course of their rights. And those type of things include what I talked about in the nature unit study. They include understanding the Bill of Rights and our rights, understanding propaganda, financial literacy, which is so, so important. I did a stream just for the members of my homeschool community in which I outline how to make your children financially literate from pre-K all the way through high school. So these are all the things that children should be taught. And on top of it, more than anything else, children should be taught skills, photography, videography, construction, engineering, computer coding, real skills that they could free themselves with, because it only takes one skill to free a man, right? People, they feel like they can't leave their job because they don't think there's anything they can do. Well, you teach your children construction, engineering, computer coding, art, music, and they will know things they can do. And then when you pair that education and skill development with a childhood filled with entrepreneurial experience, when you make sure that your children are getting, we call it the rule of 6, some type of entrepreneurial experience every 6 months from every semester, right? From the time your children are 5 years old and up. And that starts with lemonade stands. That starts with really, really basic stuff, right? I mean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. As they get older and they have an entrepreneurial mindset mixed with skills, you could start to guide your children to do more complex things, right? And they'll see things that they want to do. And then from there, that's why I make all these videos on unschooling. One of the things I do I mean, you could literally just watch my unschooling videos and just figure out what to do. But like, one of the things I do is I coach members of my community on unschooling and how to get your children entrepreneurial experience, how to develop skills, because these are the things that free a person. And a worthy education leaves the learner free. And if it's not doing that, well, it's just not that worthy. Will you move to writing more books, extending years as well? I love this, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to stop writing books. It's just a matter of how much time I have. And the majority of my time right now is dominated by my homeschool curriculum and everything. So, I mean, I'm banging out curriculum right now. And, you know, that's where I mean, they're really both where I'm making a big difference in the world. And I have to find a good balance. But I actually do have a new book that I just wrote. So my illustrator has to get that taken care of. And then we'll be good to go. It's about, I wrote a book called You Are What You Eat, which is all about organic eating and healthy eating and the importance of biodiversity within our soil, right? Bacteria and fungus, they're so important to our food and our health and our nutrition. And then this is You Are What You Eat Part 2, and this is the return of Charisma Cat and her attempt to take over and corrupt the food system. And let's just say the book is based off of a very, very, very bad company. And it's a life lesson that, again, children will be able to benefit the rest of their lives. I thought unschooling was BS until 2 years ago, and it's all I want for my kids now. So you have to understand, when I advocate for unschooling, you know, there's degrees of it. There's people that 100% unschool. And like, hey, listen, if that's what you want to do, there's no one right way to educate someone. And like, that could work. You got to if you apply yourself to it, that works. But for what I advocate for, I actually advocate you still make sure your child, like, my child's going to sit down and learn math, right? My child's going to sit down and learn science stuff and whatever. Like, they're going to cover the bases, right? That's just my personal opinion. But within that, you always want to incorporate unschooling, because that's what's really fun. I mean, you're following the interest of your child, right? Oh, my child's not motivated. Are you following their interest? You follow the interest of your child. You use the interest of your child to develop skills, and you use the skills to develop entrepreneurial experience. My son was interested in space, watch for the cosmos. He knows more than I ever did. Yeah, so like, there's a million different things you can do with space and studying space. And like, he could build a website devoted to space. You could set him on a track where he makes his own app. Like, there's so much he can do. You could get him get him a telescope and actually say, all right, well, if you want people to take you seriously, you have to be able to show them. So could you take courses in art and drawing and actually draw what you see? Or take a course in photography. We'll get you some really good cameras for your telescope, and you could actually get, like, awesome. We get you a P900 camera, and you can take incredible photographs of the moon. And then you could show them all the different things you can do with those photographs, whether he's turning them into artwork and selling the artwork, whether he's building up a portfolio, whether he is, there are websites in which they basically, you give them the rights to your photograph at royalty, right? And every time someone buys the photograph from them, you get a royalty for it. And that's passive income, right? That's a nice lesson on passive income. And the difference between assets and liabilities and accumulating assets. And what you're doing is you're developing that mindset, right? Because most children, they don't have an entrepreneurial mindset. They think they have to wait in line and wait for their turn and do what everyone else does. Well, 95% of the population is miserable, right? Right? They're not happy. They're not happy in their jobs. They're in the rat race. And we can develop a mindset within our children through their life experience, through the way in which they're educated, in which they can do some really powerful things. So you just have to get creative, follow their interests, but unschooling is the most powerful form of education, which is why I do recommend everyone incorporates one form or another of unschooling into what it is that they're doing. Great ideas. He would love that. someone knows the truth about our life. I'm trying. So, all right. So, I'm going to jump over to YouTube and talk to the Unschoolables, which are just my regulars, and we crush together. And if anyone's interested, you can jump over to the Classical Learner YouTube page. If you want to join my homeschool community, get my curriculum, get access to all the great mothers and fathers, our pen pal program, the courses that I teach, that's www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, and use the promotion code FREEDOM, all lowercase, and when you get in there, I'll inbox you within probably 36 hours of you joining. Just make sure you don't have any questions, and to answer and to give you any advice I could about just what I would do if I were in your shoes. So, all right, TikTok, this has been a lot of fun, but I've got to run. We got to talk about Bono. Oh, I don't like that guy. So, all right, guys, freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day, and I will undoubtedly be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. to earn it. All right, guys, I got to give TikTok a 10 count because I think it runs on about a 10-second delay over there. Not sure if YouTube does, but I'll give 10, 9, 8, 7. All right, I think it's probably been 10 seconds. I don't know. I could ramble all day. I could ramble. All right. Bye, TikTok. Oh, that was productive. Useful. I'm going to switch you guys out to my preferred phone holder. Don't mind my mug. All right, got you guys. See, I was holding you guys on the ring light. I use the ring light to record my videos. I know. He uses a ring light. What do you want me to do? I'm a grown man. I walk around with a selfie stick and a ring light. I got to tell you, I didn't see my life coming to this point. I did mock these people at one point, and, that's where we got. But in fairness, I am running a business, and it does require videography. So you might as well have the tools of a videographer, in my humble opinion. So, all right, guys. So, that was a good talk. I think we did a good talk with Cubs to Bears there. And how was everyone's weekend? Let's see what the people are saying. Oh, man. Had a good weekend. Took Brady and Aubrey to this, I don't know what this place is called. I probably shouldn't say the name of the place. But to like a fun zone on Friday. And they were bouncing around like little maniacs, him and his friends. They're like bounce castles and all that type of stuff. Saturday we went into town. They were actually having like a fair, or not a fair, but like an expo of all like furniture places. And since we are in the process of building a house, I thought I'd stop by and talk to some of the people there and see what they had to say. And then Sunday we went to church, met up with our friends after. We went out to a restaurant. It's really nice. Had a good weekend. We were probably at the restaurant for 2.5 hours, just having a good time. Brady was running around with his friends. But yeah, had a good weekend. They're like, oh my God, but how do you socialize a homeschool child? Brady, I mean, they're not home now. They're like never home. I mean, what do you mean? You live your life. How did anyone ever socialize before we sent them to the magical wonder that is public indoctrination centers? So anyway, I made a video about Bono. All right. Bono pissed me off. Because when I get into my car, the car hooks up to my phone. And the phone, because I guess it's an Apple, I guess it came with, I wonder if I could delete it. I should probably try to delete it. But I guess when you buy the Apples, they come with Bono's music already on your phone. So Bono's terrible music Yeah, that's the biggest point people want to bring up to me. Yeah, I mean, they're just, they don't know. They believe that, but it's ridiculous. So, when you get these Apple phones and they have Bono's horrific music, and it really is just mind-numbingly terrible. And so anyway, I go in the car, and the car hooks up to the phone with the big screen in the front of the car, right? And then the phone, if I don't put on music, automatically, when it connects to the car, puts on Bono's terrible Apple music. I guess that's what Apple does. So then I get the picture on Bono's album, which for anyone that has seen the picture on his album will tell you he's probably one of those really, 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 really disgusting human beings who wouldn't be happy if I were in the levers of power, right? Those really, 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 like the worst human beings in our society. Well, yeah, look, you'll see the picture on the cover of his album, and you'll know exactly what it is and what he stands for, right? So, anyway, Bono gets down with these organizations. I know things about Bono, because years ago I found out that only 1% of the charitable donations given to Bono's One Foundation actually go to charity. So that means if you give $100 to Bono's scam of a charity, right, $100, that he would spend $1 on charity. And he would use 99 of those dollars to pay cozy salaries and to fly on private jets and drink expensive wine, right? And that's the type of human being that Bono is, right? I know that even though he was given the award for the 2016 Glamour Magazine Man of the Year, that in a few years after that, there was a massive sexual abuse scandal out of the One Foundation. And the employees, which sued the company, many of them, openly compared the One Foundation to working for Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, I know that about Bono. And then on top of that, maybe I love that. That's why it's called the One Foundation. Yeah, the 1% Foundation, right? And then on top of that, Bono was named in the Paradise Papers avoiding taxes, right? And if that were any of us, well, you probably know what would have happened. But because that's Bono and he's so celebrated he has all these meetings with the Queen of England and he's given awards by President Bush and he speaks in front of the United Nations. Oh, he's such a good human being because he stands for eradicating poverty and hunger and improving the medical situation around the world by 2030. Or could it be, allegedly, that all of these people that say they want to cure world hunger and want to make sure that people in Africa are nice and healthy are actually the worst, most grotesque, soulless, demonic scam artists in the world today? I don't know. ThemTube would probably tell you that I'm the bad guy. So anyway, I made that video on the One Foundation, and holy crap, I was not ready for the slew of comments that came from that one. I probably destroyed my channel doing that, but that's all right. I'm just gonna I'll just follow the flow of that channel. I'll just play ball and just whatever, and I'll see where it takes me. If people want to know about corrupt foundations, I'll make videos about corrupt foundations. But and then I keep my Cubs to Bears channel really about schooling, like about gardening and schooling and stuff. Ironically, so my classicallearner.com channel has become about gravy and my Cubs to Bears about schooling, but I've learned it's just easier to just follow the path of the algorithm, and then if there's something else I want to talk about, I can literally just start new accounts and talk about it on those accounts. Anyway, I've gotten to know how right, because it's all just coding. It's all coding. And after a while, you kind of start to pick up on how the coding functions. And it's actually like, it's not as sinister on that app as you would think. It's literally just like, if people engage with your content, it like creates a profile. So the algorithm will then say, okay, people who are interested in corrupt charities like this guy's content. So then it will show my next videos to people who are interested in corrupt charities, right? So then if I make the videos on corrupt charities, but then I try to make a video like how to teach your children mathematics, then what happens is, because now my videos are going to the corrupt charity people, right? And these are like people who hyper focus on corruption. They're really not builders. They're not my cup of tea. Right? But then if I try to make that video, it goes out to them. It gets skipped by such a large percentage of people then, because my algorithm changed. So then no one watches the video. It signals to the algorithm that these videos aren't that interesting, and then they just stop going out to people. So like, it's kind of frustrating, but once you figure out how to work it, like I've had the Cubs to Bears channel. I've been talking about basically just unschooling and teaching children gardening for months now, and I love it. Like that's right in my wheelhouse. I love it. But the classicallearner.com channel, it's like I've kind of been going crazy with that one. I might even just start poking people and just having fun with that one, because I have some other things coming down the pike. And anyway, I'm not going to announce them yet, but I got some other stuff coming out, so which I'm excited about. Let's just say there might be a channel I make on homesteading, and then another channel I might make on homeschool talks, like just talks, but that's it and nothing else. So anyway, I'm just playing the game, but yeah, I made the video on Bono, and like the comments are just crazy. Like people hate these charities, man. They're like, I mean, these people that like these Bono types that are like, defund the police, like be careful what you wish for, bro. Like, oh man, the anger. Be careful what you wish for, brother. So, anyway, how was your weekend? That's what I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate the truth. It may be hard to hear at times, but it's refreshing. Yeah, I mean, don't let that stuff get you down. Like, the world is amazing. Like, the world's an amazing... I mean, look around. Look at this. The world is beautiful. Surrounded by nature. I'm not even at my homestead yet. Wait till I'm in the forest. Oh, when I go outside and there's birds and bears. Oh, I love it. Those are my people, right? So, never let them get you down. Like, I wake up every morning. I got a beautiful wife. I have 2 amazing children. Hopefully soon 3 amazing children, you know. I grow my plants, right? I have my animals, my dogs. I have so much to be grateful for. And like, when you turn off the news, like, yeah, I talk about this stuff because I just like, let's be honest, everyone's interested in gravy. And I'm no exception. Like, I like the gravy, you know, like, oh, let's see what these corrupt bastards are up to. But in the end of the day, like, yeah, that's just like, it's fun to look into. Like, this is the conspiracies and stuff. But building is how we win. So thankful for Homeschools Connected already having a meetup with another family this week. Oh, I love it. This is our first. I hope you guys post pictures for the community about our first ever community meetup. That's so exciting. This is my long-term vision is that, and by the way, we have so many members now, it could literally start happening in certain areas, is that we start having like community barbecues. We get all the children together. They run around, have a blast. The families meet up like with like-minded people, make friends. You know, people form their own homeschool co-ops. Like, I have such dreams with this. Like, I even envision it getting to a point where there are like, when single mothers and single fathers wind up on our platform, which by the way, I have to create a single parent area, that like eventually we have it where people, like, who knows, like they start dating and get married. Like, there's no limit with what we can do with our community because it's like-minded people who are all into personal responsibility, who are sick of the nonsense, who, even though might not agree on every little detail of this and that, are awake to the world. Everyone's very respectful of each other. It is, it's been a blessing, and I have big aspirations for where we're going to go with it. So, anyway, so I don't know. That's what I wanted to cover today. I got to go inside. I did the nature unit study lesson 13 this week, but I have to film the class for it. So I'm going to go film the class, which is just a 15-minute talk about the lesson and some other things. Like today, I'm actually going to cover a completely off-the-topic subject in my talk. Mother of Warriors, you are late. I was actually just wrapping it up. I was going to say I'm about to go film the nature unit study course. I've been doing a class now. At first, I was just doing lesson plans. Now I'm making it an actual class. So I'm going to go film that while the children are out of the house at the moment and they're not screaming in the background. It's very hard to film videos when you have little people in the background like, ah, ah. That's why I wake up at 3 a.m. and that's why when you guys wake up at like 7 a.m., I've already posted videos for the day. I'm not going to do it when they're awake. When they're awake, I have to like time it, because Aubrey's 10 months old and there's no stopping Aubs. Like there's no asking Aubrey to be quiet. She's, and she's vocal. She likes to talk, which by the way, she started talking, which is really cool. The other day I let Nicole sleep. So Nicole texted me. She was like, can you come upstairs and grab Aubs? Probably at like 6 a.m. So I went upstairs, I grabbed Aubs, and I brought her downstairs. So we're sitting on the couch, and she's looking out the window, and she points and goes, tree. And I was like, yes, a tree. So she did that. She was in her high chair, and she looked at me and said, up, up. She said, up. She said, up. And she's been doing Mama and Dada for a while. But anyway, really exciting stuff with that. But yeah, it's hard to film when baby Aubs is screaming and banging things, and I have to like time it out and like get a line in. So when I wake up nice and early, it's much smoother sailing. So, but it's very dark. It's very dark at 3 a.m. So that's why I have my handy dandy light. And there you go. My handy dandy light. So, all right, guys. Freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. And I will undoubtedly be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern to earn it. Can't wait to hear about this meetup. Can't wait. I don't know if this is on a delay either, so I'm just going to talk here. Talk about nonsense. I don't know if it's on a delay. Is there anybody out there? Tell me, can you hear me? Just the basic facts. I have become comfortably numb.